But to love your enemy, or at least treat them the way that you want to be treated, I think is a potential theme here.
Well, I think that he doesn't he allows the other guy, the other gunfighter, to talk, but he doesn't like correct him, because there's part of the, I'm going to let you believe that I'm a guild member and that I have as low standards as you do, and everything is just for money. And
he thought he knew who he was dealing with when he aligned Mando with the guild. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and
yeah.
That he, in their dialogue later, what I think is really cool is that the sound effects is the gunfighter really feels like he understands the fight that's going on beyond the wall in the inner courtyard, where he can tell, okay, that's lightsaber on Beskar, that's Beskar on lightsaber. Oh, there's one less lightsaber now. You know, I think he's feeling good that he's the smartest guy in the room.
He can read the scene. He has a little bit more in-depth knowledge than those around him.
Right, and that
he's got some experience.
Yeah, he's playing Mando because here, I'm going to drop my big shotgun so I can take you out with my pistol type move that ends up getting a little foiled there.
He did the play the like, hey, you and I are the same. Like these people, they have their own thing. We're going to be a part of the causes that we think are worthy to be a part of. But at the end of the day, we're hired guns. We're the mercs. You know, let's just make sure that we walk away from here, even if they don't. We can, our dog in the fight is our paycheck. And if there's no paycheck, it's not worth it. So we're good, right? No.
Yeah. And yeah, he was quick to double cross on that one, because he had to have heard that the fight was over. And if he believed that there was, you know, the Jedi lived or didn't live, this was his shot. And he takes his one shot and it doesn't work out for him.
Dude, okay, Beskar is a star in this episode like no other episode, in my opinion, because of being worthy of a lightsaber fight and being able to hold its own as armor, let alone as this Beskar spear, and going toe-to-toe with a double saber Jedi, and all you have is a steel spear. Oh no, it's Beskar, which makes a huge difference. And I just thought it's actually an equal fight. If they are both trained, you know, fighters, killers, warriors, and one's got a Beskar spear and one's got lightsabers, I'd assume that the lightsaber would be the more advanced weapon. And the Beskar is the star. I mean, come on, that was killer.
Because there's nothing cooler than hearing that Beskar on Beskar sound that is just so harmonious. Like they've got like that keyed in. That may need to be like a phone alert
ringtone.
Yeah, coming soon, because that's pretty awesome.
So Beskar is like, it's like the adamantium of the Marvel universe.
Oh yeah, definitely.
If we start seeing Mandalorians that have Beskar skeletal structures, things are gonna get really, really weird.
That would be something. Yeah. Oh, Grievous comes to mind. But so the gunfighters, the gunfighter like really knows, and I think Mando does also, that there's only one person that walks away from a gunfight. And once you draw on Mando, there's
smooth.
He may give you his jetpack, but it's only because he has the remote control to have you fly up in the air and then crash.
Right.
And
he had him right where he wanted him. He wasn't even worried.
Yeah.
Okay, it reminds me of something. Let me throw in a little UPSer here. It reminds me of something that they taught us at UPS. Slow is smooth and smooth is fast. That was the draw that Mando played.
Yeah, he did, certainly. So both of them end up taking out their opponents, and then she gets to save him. Ahsoka gets to save Mando from the last droid that I had actually even forgotten about too.
And these assassin droids.
Yeah, these assassin droids, which was great. And then um, the head villager, gets the reins turned over to him. Things are looking good for the village. There's no need for this Beskar to be here. It belongs with the Mandalorian. Um, at different times, it seems like there's things that are said, kind of like, you can't trump this. I'm not going to say this is the way, but I will say that Beskar should be with a Mandalorian. And she gives him, I'm not gonna do Grogu daycare, but I will send you in the direction where you need to head next.
I will send you to an abandoned temple where you can kind of figure it out from there.
Yeah, and you can put him up there on top of the seeking stone, and it's their version of the sorting hat. It sounds
the sorting hat will get them all taken care of.
Yeah, and that it will call out and beckon to any other Jedi. Which
is just a little scary, because if it's the Force, it could end up being Sith. I started thinking about this when she said that. I was like, isn't that just so much of a roll of a dice as if you train him, that he might end up in the hands of someone that is going to point him in the wrong direction?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's interesting that she's. So, are you familiar with who Thrawn is? The information that she's seeking.
The name was familiar. I had to look it up. I haven't dug into it. Please drop the knowledge, Steve.
Okay, so Grand Admiral Thrawn is an incredible character that prior to them resetting what would be canon in 2012, had a rather lengthy a trilogy that came out like back in, I want to say, starting around 99, by Timothy Zahn. Fantastic character. It's a good listen, even if it's not canon, but they brought him into canon during Rebels season 3 and 4, because he's a Chiss character who is blue skinned, and he's an incredible tactician. And the magistrate, her real name is Morgan Elizabeth, and she is someone who I believe in some of the Thrawn, she's like been a commanding officer under Grand Admiral Thrawn, and that's why Ahsoka believes that she will know where Thrawn is, because it's been since the Rebels time frame that she's been seen. The reason she wants to know is because it's like some of the theories that are out there is that she is seeking to find where Ezra Bridger from Rebels, and where Sabine Wren, who I thought would have been with Bo-Katan if she was known, but I think Ahsoka has been separated from them, and they were last seen with Thrawn. So
gotcha.
So that's she's seeking information of where she's at, and it also then opens your eyes to why she doesn't want to take on another Jedi when she's wanting to go track down Jedis that she already has a relationship with. And she's not, she's of the younger generation where she's worked with Sabine Wren before, and there's never been like this Mandalorian Jedi feud type thing. She's like, she's very open-minded, I would say, based on.
So, but I started wondering in the timeline with Ahsoka, she had a falling out where she had disassociated with the Jedi for a bit, but I was trying to remember, did that become reconciled so that she was a part of the Jedi Order again? But now, so she's kind of a rogue out there on her own. So she's Jedi trained, but she's not.
And she never calls herself. She never calls herself a Jedi.
In the episode, she doesn't, does she?
No.
But it's called the Jedi.
Right. So I think some people would refer to her as a gray Jedi. Like she's been torn between like good and bad.
And she doesn't want to throw that shade on Grogu.
I guess not.
I got you.
She may practice. I gotta figure out things in my own closet before I go and start acting like I'm a guru to be a mentor.
Steve, are we getting down to the end here, man? I got a couple of wrap-up thoughts.
Yeah, why don't you lay some of your wrap-up thoughts that you have for me?
I mean, they're reflections from some of the dialogue, but when Mando thinks that Ahsoka's going to keep up her end of the deal and like train this, like if I help you out with this magistrate thing, then you take the kid and train him. I didn't really get a hard commit from her in that. Like she was doing some of the same stuff. Like Mando should have seen that coming. He acted surprised. Like you can't read his facial like cues, but his armor seems to speak, and it's almost this like little shift. Like, wait a minute, well, I thought we had a deal. That wasn't the deal, you know. He thinks he's giving Grogu to her, and there's this heartfelt moment on the ship where he opens up the little bay, their little bunk area, and he says, "Wake up," and he says, "Buddy, wake up, buddy. Time to say goodbye." I call my boys buddy. I have since they were little, and I still do. So to hear him say, "Okay, buddy, it's time to say goodbye," I was like, "Oh, he's saying that because they got to say goodbye to each other because he's leaving him here with Ahsoka," and I was a little sad. And then it all flips around, and it doesn't go the way that he thought it was going. Mando thought it was going to, and he ends up taking Grogu with him. But did you notice that Ahsoka says, "May the Force be with you," and it just kind of hangs there for a second, and Mando doesn't respond. He doesn't say, "And also with you." He just kind of turns and walks back into the Razor Crest, and that's how they leave each other. It's like she's got her creed, and he's got his creed. We're not going to mix the two. She's giving him a blessing. He receives it, but walks away without giving a blessing back to her.
And I totally respect him for that, because what he hears, "May the Force be with you." Well, he's one that we've mentioned before. He chooses his words wisely. So he's not one to just like make people feel comfortable and use buzzwords and catchphrases and just repeat the same thing.
Yeah.
If he says something, he believes it. Now, if she would have said, "This is the way," he probably, okay, now you're speaking my language, and I can reply to that. But
he's obligated.
We've determined he's obligated. Yeah. But yeah, it's like he's like, I can't speak to that. But maybe that's an opportunity, an area of growth for him in the future.
He didn't shun it. He didn't reject it. He received it, pauses, turns and walks into the Razor. That takes us on to the next episode, unless you have any other reflections and parting thoughts, Steve.
One last thought. Maybe we saw that incorrect. Maybe she's saying, "May the Force be with you" to Grogu, and not to him as much.
Oh, important distinction.
So potentially, because I think Grogu's there. So
you know what? That may be right, because do you remember back in the forest when she was trying to get Grogu to use the Force, and she's like, "Come over here," and he's like, he's stubborn. He doesn't really listen. She's like, "No, I'm talking to you." And he's like, "Oh." She does that misdirected, like it could be for anybody, and if you don't pick up on the right signals, you think it's like a pastor preaching, and you think, "Oh, this would be really great for so and so to hear," but you don't receive the message from the Holy Spirit yourself.
Yeah,
there we go. Quasi-spiritual wrapping additional thought for me. But
yeah,
interesting episode, Steve. Can't wait to see where it's gonna go again next week. It's just getting good all the time, deeper, thicker.
Yeah, and I don't know where they're going to go, because they've checked off pretty much everything on my Christmas list of what I would want to see this year.
I was gonna ask about the Christmas list, like what you're gonna add.
We got Fett. We figured out where Boba Fett's at.
Yeah,
we've been introduced to name brand other Mandalorians, Bo-Katan and Night Watch, Death Watch. We've figured out like where Ahsoka is, and that's huge right there.
Yep. We've got the child's name, Grogu.
Yeah, and we now have the child's name. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Okay, but what I'm asking about is, what physical items from this episode would you add to your Christmas wish list? Like there was that one kind of spanner thing from R2, the multi-tool type thing.
I have to stick with that.
I would add the Beskar Spear to mine.
Oh,
I feel like
absolutely.
in any Spartan race, I couldn't miss the target. You would never do burpees. You never have to do 30 burpees with a best car spear because it's going to hit the target every time.
Well, and if they had any best car targets, it would make that cling sound that's so beautiful.
Oh, that's even better.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
you know what? You don't throw a best car spear. It throws you. That's what I think's happening there. Yeah, that's what I think's happening.
Well, I'll tell you some things that are not going to be on my Christmas list. I do not want one of those masks that has low like field of vision.
No
and
perf.
Respirator things. Those assassin droids, maybe half of one, like as a modern art piece would look cool, like chopped in half, like they were done. And I don't know, like if I ever see like kindling by Ahsoka, I would like know that it probably came from that scorched earth land, and I'd be like, okay, I'll buy some of that and I'll burn that.
And maybe that slice from the tree with the lightsaber that she hockey
Right.
pucked the guy with. I mean,
Yeah.
it could be a nice little coffee table.
Yeah.
You could do some cool stuff. Just leave the burning, any marbling that occurred because of lightsaber contact. It's a conversation piece.
Absolutely. Beyond that, I think we probably talked this episode to death. So I'm going to sign off with saying, this is the way.
This is the way. And let's always be asking the question, what is the way? Thanks, Steve. See you next week.
Have a good one, Kenny.
You too, man.